Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Matt Morris. Happy Saturday morning. We are live right now on YouTube as well as on Rumble at Matt Morris TV. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, howdy, do we have a lot to talk about today. We have massive anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles that took place yesterday, and as it would seem, really, all of this rioting that we have been witnessing yesterday in Los Angeles, as well as in Minneapolis and numerous other places across the country, Seattle and Portland and who knows where else. Really, it seems as if all of this is sort of just a practice session for what is going to be coming this summer. Some of them are already calling it the Summer of Love 2.0. So, folks, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what we saw yesterday in Los Angeles. Absolute chaos, mayhem. We're going to break it down. And actually, as a little bit of a spoiler here, I think we're all going to be talking about California a lot more here in the very near future. And I'll explain why. We also just got some very big updates about Don Lemon and his entire situation. And, well, let's just say that things are not exactly looking good for Mr. Lemon. And also, really, this is the biggest story of today's broadcast. We have some absolutely massive updates pertaining to Trump's ongoing investigation into the 2020 election fraud situation, as well as the Minnesota state fraud situation. We do have some big updates pertaining to both of those cases. So, folks, do me a favor before we get into this. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow. Follow me everywhere other than in real life. Okay? Deal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. I think we should probably kick off today's broadcast by talking about what went on in Los Angeles yesterday. Perhaps some of the most aggressive far-left rioting that we have seen anywhere in the country since last summer. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. Even CNN couldn't help but acknowledge just how crazy things got.
You can see an officer back there. He's alone, and they're just throwing things at him. I mean, it's just pretty incredible that these protesters have overtaken this, and there's no police. I don't see anybody here to kind of manage this crowd.
Wow.
So like I was saying, this is at the tail end of a very long day. Looks like they're cheering because they were able to push that officer back inside. Okay, and now people, okay, all right.
Even CNN says there's no police. It's out of control. They have pushed, by the way, this is the DHS. This is the federal building in downtown Los Angeles where ICE and CBP, all the DHS guys, they're based out of this building in downtown Los Angeles. The rioters, they pushed them into the building. They had these guys pressed back inside the building. It was complete and total chaos. If you don't believe me, I've got a little bit of a longer video here. They said it's mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful protesters have taken to the streets. Yeah, you tell me, does this look mostly peaceful to you? We're going to let this one play here. Garbage and filth and refuse everywhere. Glass shattered. You've got federal officers pushed back inside of the building. Far-left rioters throwing debris at the feds. The little booth here outside of the entrance and exit. They ultimately knocked this thing over. Peaceful? Yeah, I think not. It's like a pack of wild animals. These people are like deranged, mentally ill, psychotic chimpanzees. And down goes the booth. And then they all celebrate. Shameful, totally shameful. And so, I mean, I forgot I had this one. Take a look at this one. Look. This group of far-left rioters, they actually pushed up. It's like a big dumpster unit. And they pushed it up and tried to block off the entrance with this thing, spray painting everywhere. F-ice, F-ice, ice out. This was yesterday afternoon. It continued to get unruly into the evening. Hundreds of them waving what flags? Mexican flags. These are invaders. This is a foreign invasion. This is a foreign occupying force, completely out of control. When we talk about how our country has been invaded, this is, by the way, this is what that looks like. This is what a foreign invasion looks like. Now, of course, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, everybody loves Karen Bass, the communist, far-left communist mayor of Los Angeles. She chimed in to give her opinion on this. Just insane. Listen to what she had to say about this as it unfolded yesterday evening.
Well, I can tell you that the situation is under control, but it is ongoing.
It's under control. And by the way, it's so funny because they contrast what she's saying with actual live footage as it was happening yesterday of this chaos. It's under control. Don't worry about it.
And there was a interaction that was violent for a minute, but it was brought under control. First, you had the federal officers defending the federal building, and they acted in the beginning, and they dispersed tear gas. Then when it moved into the street, then of course the Los Angeles Police Department takes over. There is a show of force there, but so far they have been managing it. I think it's down to about 150 people, and they're kind of scattered around one particular intersection. So
150 people. It's mostly peaceful. Everything is okay. It's scattered. Just like, lady, we have eyes. We can see what is happening here.
I think that it will end okay, but we are on a tactical alert right now in our city, and all of this is unnecessary. We have to go back to the origin of all of these protests. Nobody would be protesting now in the street if Minneapolis hadn't happened. We wouldn't have had protests in Los Angeles if they hadn't invaded us.
Well, first off, actually, we know that's wrong because we had the riots in Los Angeles in June of 2025. There was no ICE or federal invasion of the city. This is before Renee Good. This is before Preddy. This is before anybody had been killed. Justifiable killings, by the way, for the record. Self-defense. Those people were psychotic. But anyway, we saw what happened in Los Angeles, just 6 or 7 months ago. We saw how unhinged these third world illegal alien invaders became. It was following their No Kings protest. It was a riot. So she's trying to blame this entire situation on Trump. Bullcrap. We saw what happened a couple months ago. And by the way, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you know what they're going to do. This is a midterm year. We have midterm elections coming up very soon. All of this has been happening over the last couple weeks. This is winter. It's cold. What we see time and time again, look back through American history, protests, riots are always at their peak. They are the worst during the summer because the weather is more favorable for rioting and burning down the city and causing damage and civil chaos. And so what we're seeing right now in the winter, this is nothing compared to what I promise you we're about to see in the summer. Already, I'm looking on social media. People on the far left members are calling for a summer of love 2.0, summer of love 2.0. What was the summer of love 1.0? It was after the George Floyd fiasco, taking place predominantly in Minneapolis, similarly, but also across the country. The summer of love. They burnt the country down. At this point, I was living in the Portland, Oregon area. We saw what they did to Portland. We saw what they did in Seattle. They built the Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Remember that, Chaz and Chop? We saw what they did in Los Angeles and Minneapolis and New York. They're going to do it again. They're going to try to do it again. It's a midterm year. You know they are. This summer is going to be insane. It's winter. We've seen nothing yet, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want to show you something that is almost comical. Take a look at this. Yesterday afternoon was the grand opening of the new film called Melania. It's based on Melania Trump and going into the 2024 election and what her role was in this election. Well, posters are going up. Okay, it's a film. It's a film like any other. We're having far left, members of the far left, the radical progressives are putting up their own posters of Melania with a Hitler mustache. And this is, guess what, in Los Angeles. They're putting a Hitler mustache on here. I want to show you, what are the ratings for this? What's it looking like? How's the movie doing? Well, I'll show you something. You can see, go to Rotten Tomatoes. The tomato meter has given this movie a 7% rating. The tomato meter is based off of the critics, the movie reviewers. the experts, the expert movie critics. It's their profession. I rate movies. It's my job. Those guys gave it a 7%. Well, the popcorn meter, this is based off of audience reviews, actual everyday American people that are going and seeing the movie. That's us. We have given it a 99%. So if the people of America give it a 99, the experts, the critics, they have given it a 7%. Who do you think is out of touch here? I think the experts are a little bit out of touch. Seems like the experts are always out of touch. The audience score is 99%. Can you imagine that? The experts have given it a 7%. Truly astounding. Ladies and gentlemen, I said that I think here in the next couple weeks, maybe couple days, I don't know, I think we're going to be talking about California a lot. California is going to be in the news a lot. Why do I say that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got the news earlier today that Nick Shirley, independent journalist, Nick Shirley has been spotted on the streets of San Diego, California, exposing massive amounts of fraud. Nick Shirley is about to do in California what he just got done doing in Minneapolis, all across Minnesota. He has touched down in California now. He's in San Diego yesterday, and we already have one little interaction coming out. So he's putting a video together. You just know. Take a look at this here, though. Look.
It's Nick Shirley, our state, guys. Look.
It says there's 14 children enrolled here.
You don't care. This is my daycare.
Then where are the children?
You don't care.
Where are the children at?
It's not enough, Minnesota. You come here. It's not enough.
So you can kind of tell by the accent. Of course, we don't know what this woman looks like. This shrieking banshee of a woman. We don't know what she looks like, but if you had to take a guess based on the accent, this is my daycare. You don't care. Ma'am, where are the children? It said there's 14 children that go to this daycare. You don't care. If you had to guess, where is she from? Probably East Africa. Probably a certain unnamed country in East Africa that these people have a penchant, a certain proclivity for opening up fake daycares. Can anybody guess? I don't know. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait for the Nick Shirley video. I'm thinking about bananas and rice. Man, I haven't had breakfast yet today. Bananas and rice. Sounds good to me. It's a lot like bananas and rice. That's my guess. President Trump, he issued a little bit of a statement here as it kind of relates to all of this. Trump is spelling it out for all of us plainly. The anti-ICE hysteria from the Democrats is all a plot to obfuscate, camouflage, and hide their criminal acts of theft and insurrection. Do you think that's true? Do you think all of these anti-ICE riots in Minneapolis, now it's spreading to Los Angeles? I think we're going to see a lot of stuff in California here very soon. Do you think these riots are meant to distract all of us, to obfuscate from the fraud and the insurrection? I think so. You saw all of these Antifa psychopaths, illegal alien rioters. It's almost like they got, it's almost like they got deployed. It's almost like they got strategically deployed, like somebody made a call. Listen, they're onto us. Listen, the Trump administration is onto us. They've discovered the fraud. They've discovered what we're doing here. Deploy Antifa. Deploy the illegal alien rioters. Get them on the streets. Get the boots on the streets. We need to create a scene. We got to distract everybody from what's going on here. It's almost like somebody made a call, huh? It's curious. President Trump made a post here that everybody's talking about right now. Let's pull this up. He said, this is last night. He posted this late last night. The radical left lunatics, insurrectionists, agitators, and thugs are going after Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, because she is a woman and she has done a great job. I think she's done a great job. The border disaster that I inherited is fixed. The violent criminals that were allowed into our country through Sleepy Joe's sick open border policy are largely gone or being strongly sought for purposes of removal. And the murder rate in the USA just reached the lowest level in history. 125 years, a 20% drop in 1 year, by the way, massive. Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in America. Likewise, numerous other once very dangerous cities are becoming safer. Republicans, do not let these crooked Democrats who are stealing billions of dollars from Minnesota and other cities and states from all over the country push you around. They are using this aggressive protest scam to obfuscate, camouflage, and hide their criminal acts of theft and insurrection. I think so. They should all be in jail. They should all be in jail. And I think we are going to have many of them in jail by the end of the year. 2026 is shaping up to be a big year. Trump says, I was elected on strong borders and law and order, among many other things. Thank you, Kristi Noem. Remember, elections have consequences. Do you remember when the Democrats used to tell us that? Remember when Joe Biden, the gaslighting is insane. Joe Biden was in the White House illegitimately. That election, we all know, was fraudulent. But the guys in the White House, and for 4 years, every single day, we had to hear from MSNBC and CNN and Kamala Harris, that cackling hyena of a woman, Joe Biden, Mayorkas, all of them, we had to hear, elections have consequences. Hey, you stupid Republicans. Hey, you stupid MAGA voters. Elections have consequences. I guess you should have voted harder. And meanwhile, all of them knew the election was stolen. Elections have consequences. There was no election. They stole the damn thing. But still, they said it regardless. And here's Trump. Hey, listen, Democrats, elections have consequences, and you are getting deported. We are shutting this down. God bless President Trump. President Donald J. Trump, he says. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have an update about Don Lemon. Lemon has, listen, I'm going to give you the bad news here first, and then I'm going to give you the good news, okay? So bear with me. It's going to be an up and down. It's going to be a down and then an up, actually. Don Lemon has been released from prison. Don Lemon was taken into federal custody on Friday night, January 30th, yesterday. He was processed, and then he was released without bail by a California state magistrate judge named Patricia Donahue. There she is, California state magistrate judge Patricia Donahue, who, by the way, has a history of legally defending illegal aliens and overseeing alleged civil rights violations carried out by the Trump administration. So guess what side of the aisle she is on? This is the judge here that let Don Lemon out of jail last night without bail, just turned him loose. Here's a video shortly after he got out.
Don, the indictment says that you protected the address. You protected the element of surprise. You kissed the organizer on camera. Do you consider yourself a participant or a journalist?
We on your side, Don.
Participating by saying don't
We got your back, Don.
We got your back, Don. Yo, we on your side, Don. We got your back, Don. This is bull crap, Don. And of course, Don Lemon is not going to be answering any questions. He knows. Listen, he might be out of prison. You heard the bad news. Let's get to the good news here, folks. He's screwed. Don Lemon knows he is screwed. In fact, let me tell you something here. Don Lemon, we're going to hear from his attorney here in a second. But first, let me tell you something here. Don Lemon, he's not, listen, he's out of jail, but he's not scot-free. Don Lemon right now has a federal court appearance scheduled for February 19th. I'm sorry, no, February 9th. February 9th, that is 10 days from now, in Minneapolis, during which he's going to attempt to defend himself from these charges. He's been charged with the FACE Act, violating the FACE Act, which, by the way, carries a 1 year, hear me out, violating the FACE Act carries a 1 year maximum federal prison sentence for first-time offenders, which is what he would be. And it sure seems like he has violated the FACE Act, because keep in mind, the reason why there was ever a criminal indictment for Don Lemon, the DOJ went to a Minnesota state grand jury, which is comprised of everyday random Minnesotans, put the evidence in front of those Minnesotans. It's a grand jury. And they said, yeah, seems like he violated the FACE Act. We're going to give you that indictment, that criminal indictment. So a jury has already said, yeah, there seems like there's probable cause here. Seems like he did something wrong. And so he's getting called back. He's got a court date 10 days from now in Minnesota. Things are not looking good. But wait, there's more. Remember I said, violating the FACE Act for the first time carries a 1-year maximum federal prison sentence. Well, that's perhaps not all he did, because if Don Lemon is found to be involved in a conspiracy, a larger conspiracy to violate the FACE Act, he could be looking at 10 years in prison, in federal prison. And of course, it seems like he was conspiring with all of his co-collaborators that helped him raid this church. So if he violated the FACE Act by himself on his own, maximum 1-year prison sentence, federal prison sentence. But if he was engaged in a larger conspiracy, he could be looking at 10 years in federal prison. And it sure seems like he was engaged in conspiracy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years a lemon. You could make a movie out of that. 10 years a lemon. The story of Don Lemon. Who would play Don Lemon? Who's going to, you know what? I'll do it. You know what? I'll do it. I'm not an actor. I've got no acting history, but you know what? In the Netflix documentary, 10 Years a Lemon, I volunteer. I will play Don Lemon. So long as they cut out all of the gay stuff. I'm not doing any gay stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we hear from Don Lemon's attorney, who made an appearance on MS Now. Take a look at this.
They didn't do it just in the way you're supposed to. They wanted it to be terrifying. Mm-hmm. They wanted it to be intimidating. They wanted it to create fear. So he lives in New York. It's not Minneapolis. He's going to Los Angeles to do his job, which is to cover, in this case, the Grammys this weekend. They wait until he's in Los Angeles. That's not enough. They waited until 11:30 at night when he was coming back for doing what he does in the lobby of a hotel, and not one, not two, not three, but the bevy of agents surround and take him away. Don thought he was being mugged because he has been controversial, and he actually thought some crazy people on the right might be stalking him.
Oh, Don Lemon is such a victim. He was arrested by the FBI or whoever the hell arrested him in that hotel lobby on a Friday night. And he was so scared that it was a group of far-right because this happens all the time. Far-right Trump voters are going around attacking people. Well, they did do it one time with Jussie Smollett. Oh, wait, actually, no, they didn't. That was a lie also. Huh. Curious.
Can I pause just for a moment? Because I think it's so important for people to hear this. We just showed Georgia's video. How many agents surrounded him in the lobby?
I'm trying to count right now, but let's put it this way. It's more than the one that would have been necessary to do it the right way. And they're cloaked, and they're protected, and they're armed. Mm-hmm. This is to somebody who's not a threat, doesn't have a criminal record. He's not Maduro in Venezuela that you have to snap out. You basically have heard from his attorney, and they don't care about any of that. So they take him away. And that's what happened. But they didn't just take him away.
Oh, my good Lord.
Remember, they didn't just stalk him in Los Angeles. They did it at 11:30 at night, so they knew that he'd have to spend a night in jail for no reason whatsoever. But they did that on purpose.
Based? I'm thinking based. They did it late at night so that he would have to spend at least one night in a prison cell. All right, listen. Hey, Pam Bondi, I was unaware of how you operated. Pam Bondi, you continue to catch me off guard. Pam Bondi, I was unfamiliar with your game. My good lady, ma'am, I was unfamiliar with your game. I need to give a little bit of respect here. Pam Bondi. Who knew she had that dog in her? Who knew? Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Nicki Minaj has issued a statement.
Anything you'd like to say to Don Lemon?
Cocksucker, stop.
I'm telling you, people keep saying it. I don't know why Don Lemon is so mad. I'm telling you, he's going to have the time of his life in federal prison. He's going to have the time of his life in federal prison. I don't know why he's so worried about it. Now, Fox News with Brett Baer, they had a panel on last night. They broke down this entire dynamic. I want to take a look at this. But first, do me a favor, folks. If you're new to the show, if you're tuning in, do me a favor. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow on Rumble and on YouTube, everywhere, on Twitter. Follow me everywhere except for in real life. Thank you. I appreciate it, folks. Let's see what they said about this entire Don Lemon dynamic on Fox News late last night.
Yeah, so Don Lemon was part of a group of people that went in and interfered with a group of Christians' First Amendment rights to worship peacefully, which is protected by the First Amendment. Don Lemon is saying now he was just there as a journalist. But
and he's saying he was protected by the First Amendment for being a journalist.
Right, but you don't actually have, just because you say you're a journalist or just because you're holding a camera does not mean that you get to participate in the commissioning of a crime, and that's something all journalists should know. There have been attacks on journalists, such as when David Daleiden, Kamala Harris went after him for his role in uncovering what Planned Parenthood had done with the trafficking of fetal human body parts. And you want to protect journalists, but being a journalist or saying that you're a journalist does not give you the right to interfere with people's First Amendment rights to worship. And he's on camera harassing the worshipers, being part of the effort to keep them terrified worshipers from being able to leave. He said he wanted to confront them with the facts about immigration enforcement. And
well, listen, once again, we heard from Don Lemon himself on the day that he carried out this raid in that church sermon, that Sunday service. He said himself that he targeted this church because these are white, privileged Christians. This is a group of white, privileged Christians, and we're going to go in there and we're going to disrupt. So listen, dude, this is a FACE Act violation, maybe even a violation of the KKK Act. We got to see of 1871. How ironic, how just comical would it be if they actually hang up, if Pam Bondi's DOJ, if they can hang up Don Lemon under the KKK Act of 1871, which was, by the way, what's the origin here? The KKK Act of 1871 is a post-Civil War era act that was designed to prevent members of the KKK from interrupting black church services. And now just flip it. Hey, listen, if the KKK doesn't get to violate and interrupt black church services, then Don Lemon doesn't get to interrupt white church service. Goes both ways, Mr. Lemon.
So this is, his defense will be made, but it's not something that people should take lightly, this invasion of a worship space.
It's another element to the Minnesota back and forth.
No, it just adds more fuel to the fire. And I agree with Molly that it's a tension between the First Amendment, freedom of the press, the right to freedom, the right to report and to be on the scene and to have free speech, versus the right for worshipers at a church to be not threatened by activists storming into the service. And I think one of the big questions is a media question of what is a journalist these days? I mean, it used to be you have to have a credential. Obviously, Don Lemon worked for CNN for a long time, but anyone can call themselves a journalist if they have a phone and have a video camera, and that could lead to a lot of just dangerous implications where anyone can storm into a religious service because they're actually documenting something that they see as sinister or problematic. So there's a real journalistic integrity element here too.
Well, talking about the journalistic integrity angle here, you zoom out from the Don Lemon situation. We've seen this at all of these riots and protests. In fact, we saw it in Los Angeles yesterday afternoon, where you have all of these like genuine far left rioters, member of Antifa, illegal alien rioters, and they strap on a press patch that they bought on Amazon for $1.99. It says press. They tape it to their chest or their hat or whatever, and they're holding up their iPhone. They've got their iPhone here. They're recording. And they say, hey, listen, I'm a press. I'm a member of the press. That means I get to do whatever I want. I'm a member of the press. You're not allowed to push me back or shoot me with the pepper gun, even if I'm up in your face, even if I'm where I'm not supposed to be. I'm a member of the press. So he raises a very important point, and this is one of the sort of struggles of our time, struggle of the modern era here, is you have genuine far left rioters and agitators that are pretending they're LARPing as members of the press to kind of, push the envelope, pushing the line here to see how much they can get away with. It is a problem. That's an excellent point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have just gotten some massive updates pertaining to the ongoing investigation into the 2020 election fraud scandal. Really, it was less of an election fraud scandal and more of a Democrat-led coup against the American people, against this republic. And I'll tell you what, as things currently seem, we are all going to end up having our justice very soon. We also have some pretty curious updates today about the Minnesota fraud investigation. Folks, President Trump is not letting this one go. And that means accountability insofar as Minnesota fraud goes as well, very soon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I'd like to show you here. Kash Patel made an appearance. FBI Director Kash Patel made an appearance late last night on Fox News talking about what went on at Fulton County, Georgia. They raided this election office. Hear it from FBI Director Kash Patel himself. He adds some insight here.
Patel, I want to start with the news, and the news is out of Fulton County, Georgia. I know this is an ongoing investigation, but the FBI on Wednesday did obtain a search warrant to look at this Fulton County election hub to access physical ballots, electronic ballot images, and voter rolls. Is there anything you can share at this moment?
Hey, Kaylee, it's great to be with you. Look, like any other investigation, the FBI follows the facts and the law, and President Trump and the Attorney General have given us clear mandate to reduce crime in this country and investigate anything that rises to the level of probable cause. And what we did, the FBI, with our partners at the Department of Justice, the AG, let out on an extensive effort to conduct interviews and an investigation, which led us to a probable cause to be delivered to a judge who found probable cause for us to execute that search warrant, which you saw and the nation saw yesterday. And what we did was what we do in any other investigation. We went in there, we followed the rules of the search warrant. The FBI and the DOJ went in and collected numerous pieces of evidence that the judge authorized us to collect.
Folks, this is something that the Democrats do not want you to know. This is something that you're not going to hear on left-wing mainstream media. This is something the far left does not want to talk about. This raid that the FBI conducted 2 days ago, Fulton County, Georgia election office here, the FBI had a warrant from a judge. In order to get a warrant, in order to pull off this raid, to execute this raid, the FBI had to have probable cause. They had to have evidence of some wrongdoing having been committed here. This is what the Democrats don't want you to know. The FBI, the Trump administration here, folks, they put together evidence that the 2020 election was stolen, or at least what happened in Georgia was fraudulent or stolen. They put that evidence together. They put this evidence in front of a judge. The judge looked it up, read through the entire file, and said, "Oh my good Lord. Yeah, here's your warrant. Okay, here is your warrant." Warrants don't just materialize out of thin air. The judge looked at the evidence and said, "Oh my good Lord. Here's the warrant."
And what we're going to do next is go through the voluminous amounts of information collected and continue our investigation. At this point, there's not much more I can say publicly because we have to go through a lot more material, but it was predicated upon a finding of probable cause by a judge in Georgia.
That's right.
Well, we'll continue to follow it. I want to move to the fraud that we have seen in Minnesota.
We're going to talk about Minnesota here in a second, folks, but first, there's something I want to show you. This is a big deal. This cannot be understated, ladies and gentlemen. Who attended this FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia? Well, it was none other than Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. This is highly abnormal. Why would the DNI, why would Tulsi Gabbard attend this FBI raid at an election office? Why would that happen? Well, this is a great write-up here. You just know she deliberately, Tulsi Gabbard, let photographers see her there. It's not an accident that photographers got a look at Tulsi Gabbard and snatched a couple photos. Tulsi Gabbard wanted the photographers to know, because the press, the media is over there. You know, she's posing in front of the ballot boxes that are right behind her. What's that in the background? Bunch of ballot boxes that then subsequently got loaded into the truck, the FBI truck, and taken away. Tulsi Gabbard wants certain people out there to know that she now has the crude physical evidence in her possession. Tulsi Gabbard almost staged a little bit of a photo op. She wanted to be seen there. And so I ask you all a question. Why would the Director of National Intelligence be at this office? Well, listen, the reason why is if there was a national security threat. The only reason the DNI would be there at this raid, the FBI can handle it. She's there because there was a national security threat involved in this raid in this office. Well, what would constitute a national security threat here? Foreign election interference. That's what, foreign election interference. Is it a coincidence that, let me do the math, 27 days ago, Maduro was apprehended down in Venezuela? You think that has something to do with this? You think Maduro might be singing like a canary right now, handing over information? Because Maduro, we know down in Venezuela, Maduro and Hugo Chavez, his Venezuelan predecessor, Chavez, they together, the two of them, starting in 2003, developed a proprietary election rigging software built on the back of the Smartmatic electronic voting software. We know that they did that. Trump got Maduro alive. He could have blown this guy up. He didn't. Trump could have dropped a bomb on this guy's head. He didn't. He brought him back alive. He sent in Delta Force to bring this guy back alive. There's a reason for that. And now we're seeing this. Do you think something that Maduro gave to Trump evidence was then put in front of this judge to get this warrant? Might that be involved here? That the FBI then used to raid this election facility down in Fulton County, Georgia, and that's why DNI Tulsi Gabbard's down there? I would bet so. Curious video. Take a listen to this one here, folks.
They got there. Remember those pictures of Tulsi standing outside?
Oh, yeah.
I would long odds she was calling the president and saying something like, Mr. President, I've put my eyes on these famous 148. That alone, that set of facts I just told you alone, completely overthrows the Georgia election. Before you even get to, there were 70,000 ballots with no images. And I mean, there's images, but no paper. And there's another 17,000 of other ballots with no paper, but just the images. And there's foreign connectivity, and there's this, that, and all this happy horse shit. And all these different places you lose. I mean, it's just a mountain. But the thing that you could see in 5 minutes is, in 2 minutes, is just open up that one stack and look. And if those 148,000 are in fact uncreased mail-in ballots, as we've said, or is with perfectly filled in circles, you really have your whole answer right there.
Wow.
So my guess is that has something to do with why Tulsi was on site, because she could personally go and look at that and then call the president. They got there.
That's a great question. Nobody's even asked this question. Tulsi Gabbard walks in there, opens up a box or two. She's confronted with the hard evidence. She's on site, picks up the phone. Who's she talking to? President Trump. You were right. Trump, you know what you've been talking about, these fraudulent mail-in ballots? All of them are identical, perfectly filled in. There's no way a human did this. They're fake. They're not even creased. They're not folded. They're perfect. They're like printed out perfectly. Trump, we got the boxes. Trump, you have been right about this for 5 years. For 5 years, you were right. And now we have the evidence. And now we have the proof. Yep. I would guess that that is what's going on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Fulton County, Georgia is not the only place that we have fraud. We have fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Did you know that? Have you heard the news about the fraud in Minneapolis under Tim Walz's leadership? Well, Tim Walz issued a statement about this. He went on a liberal left-wing podcast just the other day, 2 days ago, and he issued a little bit of a statement about this fraud. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. Listen up.
This fraud thing happens in every state. We had it here. I take responsibility for it. No one in state government had anything to do with it, but people stole from us. You got to stop that. We're working hand in hand with the U.S. Attorney's Office. That's gone now. I don't even know who over there is working on fraud. And we got folks, you come in here, that U.S. Attorney sat right here, and I said, there's two people that want to fix this more than anybody in this state, me and you. What do you need from me?
Is that right? First off, he tries to deflect. He says, well, listen, fraud like this happens in every state. We're not unique. We're not special here in Minnesota. Fraud just like this happens in every state at this caliber. First off, bullcrap. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I buy that. Then he says, hey, nobody wants to solve this fraud more than me. Is that right? Then why have you done nothing about it? In fact, about at the 15 or 16 second mark, he said, it's done. It's done. He said, it's done. As if he has already solved all of the fraud. In another interview yesterday, he said, he said that we arrested everybody. We already arrested people. We've already arrested people. And it's true, maybe 2 or 3 dozen scammers have been arrested. But I think there's a lot more than that. Kash Patel chimed in last night about this fraud here in Minnesota.
Well, thankfully, every state does not have this problem. I don't have another statistic to give you where we arrested 75 individuals in one summer for hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud related to a program that's supposed to feed malnourished children in underprivileged families. So I don't know what he's talking about. That's pushing it under the rug. And also, a fraud of this size, there should be state and local authorities alerting the FBI early on and participating in our investigation. We went up there and did it with the federal authorities and the DOJ. And we've continued to ask those in Minnesota and around the country of any information on this to let us know, because this investigation is not over. The size of the fraud continues to be exposed, and there will be more arrests coming.
There will be more arrests coming. And by the way, as we know, there is a federal DOJ, Department of Justice, federal investigation into Waltz and Minneapolis Mayor Fry and Minnesota State Attorney General Keith Ellison, conspiracy charges. Did they know about this? First off, did they know about the fraud? Second off, did they conspire together to undermine and impede federal law enforcement operations investigating the fraud and then trying to detain and arrest and deport illegal aliens? Things not looking good for these Minnesota State far-left politicians. Now, we heard from Republican Senator John Kennedy. He gave his opinion here about Waltz.
Let me just say a couple of things quickly, Sean. Number one, Governor Tim Walz. Whatever he says, believe the opposite. I'm sorry, the man learned to lie before he learned to talk. He's just a. I can't
help it. You crack me up.
Well, he's just a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton.
Oh man! Oh my gosh!
Number two.
Did you go drinking before tonight? Did you have dinner before? Keep going.
No,
keep going.
I don't even drink. Let me just.
Waltz is a liar. If his lips are moving, you know he's lying, and he's a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton. Possible, plausible, likely. President Trump himself issued a statement earlier this morning about all of this theft and fraud in Minnesota. I want to read this to you folks. Trump this morning, he said, "The theft and fraud in Minnesota is far greater than the $19 billion originally projected. The Biden administration knew that this fraud was happening and did absolutely nothing about it. Scammer Ilhan Omar and her absolutely terrible friends from East Africa should all be in jail right now, or far worse, send them back to where they came from. Governor Waltz is either the most corrupt government official in history or the most incompetent." My money's on both. And the reason why is because he is obviously highly incompetent and highly corrupt. He made no attempt to even conceal the fraud. It almost seems like he knew about it, and he didn't even try to hide it. Maybe he thought he'd never get caught. And you know what? By the way, he was the vice presidential candidate alongside Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. If Kamala Harris and Tim Waltz had won that election, he would have gotten away with it. Do you think the Harris-Waltz administration would have investigated Tim Waltz's fraud in Minnesota State? Of course not. In fact, they probably would have made it worse. The fraud would have exacerbated. It would have become even worse. So he almost got away with it. He would have gotten away with it too if not for Donald Trump. That's the honest to God answer. Tim Waltz, even a very low IQ person, of which there are many, should have known what was going on in Minnesota. I think he did know what was going on. I think he knew about it. I think he covered it up. I think he turned a blind eye to it. In fact, I would suspect that he was actually a direct beneficiary of it. Time will tell. The investigation is ongoing. In fact, speaking about bringing about justice, speaking about ongoing investigations, Tim Waltz and Attorney General Keith Ellison have officially been called to testify. They've been subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee on March 4th, which is just a little bit over 1 month from now. And this will be live broadcast. We're probably going to watch this one together live. I'm going to wake up early for it if I have to. This is going to be insane. And by the way, this is not a request. This is a demand. They have to come and talk. And if they don't come and talk in front of the House Oversight Committee and answer all of their questions under oath, under congressional oath, you better not lie, Waltz, Ellison, better not lie under oath. That's a big problem too. If they ignore this congressional subpoena here, demanding them to come and talk in front of Congress, then they will be held in contempt of Congress, which carries a 1-year maximum federal prison sentence. So, hey, if I were them, I would comply. We need to get to the bottom of this if we actually want to make America great again and put America first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I would love to do at this point in the broadcast, if you will allow me, is take a look at some super chats. I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We're going to pull up our super chats here. I want to see what you lovely ladies and gentlemen in the live audience on Rumble and on YouTube have to say about this, our Rumble rants and super chats. Everybody, if you have not already, do me a favor, make sure to like and to subscribe today's broadcast. We're full steam ahead every single day, twice a day. We're here every single day breaking down all the news around the country. Okay, I've got them pulled up. Ladies and gentlemen, before we do our super chats, we need to go super patriot MAGA mode. You know how it is. You know how it is. You know how we do it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our very first super chat of the day is from an individual named Paula Tobin. Paula Tobin. She says, thank you, Matt White House. If you are listening, we would love to send Matt to shake Trump's hand. A true patriot. He speaks for all of us. You know, you guys know I like to keep a distance. I don't get too involved. I kind of do my own thing. But, you know, if the White House invited me over to go and talk to Trump, of course I would say yes. Of course I would say yes. I'd go shake the guy's hand. I'd say, thank you, Trump, for everything you've done. He's a great man. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Paula Tobin. Say, if anybody has any connections in the White House, I don't. I would go shake his hand. I'd go shake the guy's hand. Thank you very much. We have a super chat here from Rogue Civilian. Says, Morse Force Assemble. Assemble. Thank you, Rogue Civilian. Mr. Idaho says, let's go. Thank you, Mr. Idaho. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in on this lovely Saturday. Cassandra Hughes. Cassandra. Mrs. Hughes says, thank you, Matt. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. It's been one hell of a show. Oh, but hey, listen, by the way, before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, after the super chats and after the Rumble rants, I've got a surprise for you guys today. We're going to do something special. We're going to do a little bit of an extended broadcast. We're going to get through the super chats, and then I have a surprise for you. So bear with me here, folks. I think you guys, it's going to be a little bit funny. I think you guys are going to like this. Thank you very much. Little surprise, little Saturday surprise. Cassandra, thank you. The Outlaw Feminist says, I am a fourth generation Portlander that can't live there anymore because it's so effed. The crotch driven took it over. It's bad. It's bad. I remember growing up. I mean, this is just 15 or 16 years ago. It wasn't this bad. Portland has always been kind of hipster and weird and liberal. Okay, whatever. But now it's like violent. Now there's like violent far left extremists and homeless drug addicts and gang violence and shootings, and it's just filthy. It's dangerous. I can you know, be around liberals, whatever. But now it's dangerous. It's a different thing. It's a different thing, right? I can tolerate hipsters, but now it's something else. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Darth Metalhead here, he says, if not insurrection, then why is it insurrection shaped? It sure is. It sure is. Thank you, Darth Metalhead. John Cantrell says, Matt, have you seen the documentary Age of Disclosure? The documentary Age of Disclosure. You know, I don't think I have. But if you're recommending it, I should probably look it up. I'll look it up. If you're recommending it, I'll pull it up. Thank you. I'll look into it. Thank you, sir. I haven't. We have a super chat here from Pandemonium Preferred. He says, they are watching their base be deported one illegal at a time. It will get worse before it gets better. You're absolutely right about that. Well, it's going to get worse for them. Well, okay, I know what you mean. Their base is getting deported, which means they are going to increase the violent riots. They're going to increase the insurrection, the insurrectionist behavior, because they know they're losing. They have to get more radical. They're getting increasingly radical and agitated because they know they're losing control. Thank you. Kevin Stankiewicz, he says, invoke the Insurrection Act and send in the army. That was Los Angeles. Luckily, late night, LAPD came in and successfully pushed those people out. It took him a couple hours, several hours longer than it should have, but LAPD showed up and pushed those people away from the building. It's mayhem. And this summer, you know what? This summer, I think we probably will see the Insurrection Act. This summer, word on the block, like I said, is it's going to get crazy. This summer is going to get crazy. These far left freaks are going to go crazy this summer. Summer is riot season. It's the season to riot, as we have seen time and time again. Thank you, Kevin. Blake Marquette, he says, Auburn Washington Middle School used students to stage an ICE protest. I have video that seems to be everywhere ASAP. How do I get it to you? I don't know. Hey, post it on Twitter. Tag me on Twitter. We've seen a lot of this stuff where the far left is like weaponizing students. They're having middle school student walkouts, and the faculty, the staff, they're giving these kids anti-Trump and anti-ICE posters and flyers. We're seeing that these teachers, these far-left teachers are trying to weaponize their students now. And it's weird, if you're a 13-year-old kid, you're going to say, wait a minute, I get to get out of class today and just walk around with my friends and scream and shout as long as I hold up this sign? Okay, deal. 13-year-olds are looking for any opportunity whatsoever to get out of class. So they're going to take the opportunity. You can't even blame them, they're kids. And so it is the students, it's the far left, it's the teachers, it's the far left teachers that are weaponizing their students. We've seen that all across the country. It's insane. Thank you, Blake. Commander Ballwacker says, for some bananas and rice. Hey, thank you. I love the bananas and rice. Stranger Polls, he says, why did I actually expect your wife to deliver you a plate of something involving rice and bananas? Also, think it'll be good with pineapple. Gross. Gross. Bananas and rice and pineapple. Gross. Thank you, sir. Megalia says, wow, YouTube is censoring the message I want to send. You know a website that does not censor any of these Rumble rants or super chats? It's Rumble. It's Rumble. It's not censoring anything. Thank you very much. Rumble, not censoring anything. YouTube does sometimes, though. Hey, thank you very much, Megalia. In fact, we have a Rumble rant right here from Desert West Jan. Jan, thank you, says, you are my go-to news source. I am hearing that increasingly every single day. I'm hearing that from a lot of people. I take that seriously. I take that burden seriously. So I'm doing my best. It's a one-man show. I'm doing my best. I try to bring real news, cut to the chase. I appreciate that. I take that very seriously. Thank you very much. That means a lot. It's a serious job. Thank you very much, Jan. We have a super chat here from Mitch. Mitch on YouTube, he says, if we're not careful, this is going to not only be a major civil war, but could also turn into a racial war. But God's on his way back. What do we expect? It's going to be a crazy year. Thank you, sir. It is. It's going to be a crazy year, and I hope that the Trump administration is ready for it. I think they are. I think they know what's coming. I am Flag. He says, Lemon wants to inherit protection of the press, but doesn't want the inherent protections of law enforcement. Yeah. It's almost like these leftists are hypocritical. It's almost like that, right? We have a Rumble rant from Grim Shenanigans. He says, who else has been through Clinton, Obama, and Biden and seen this all unfold over the years before it was widely found out? Love your show, by the way. Great facts. You know what is so funny is that pretty much all of the conspiracy theorists over the last 15, 20, 30 years, all of them have gotten proven to be correct about everything. The conspiracy theorists just keep on racking up W's, win. They just keep winning. Everything that we were told was a conspiracy 10 or 15 or 20 years ago has just ended up being completely true. Conspiracy theorists are vindicated time and time again, over and over again. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. In fact, remember, we were all told 10 years ago that all this, maybe I'm not allowed to say it on YouTube, all this pizza-related stuff, gross. You know what I'm talking about? All this pizza stuff that we were talking about 10 years ago that came out with these WikiLeaks, Podesta and Hillary Clinton's emails. They were talking a lot about pizza. Well, guess what we saw with this Epstein file dump yesterday? A lot of pizza talk. A lot of pizza talk with these type of people. We just keep on hearing about it. Very curious. And we were all told, no, hey, it's nothing. Hey, stop asking questions. Hey, don't look into it. Stop asking questions. Hey, shut up. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of evil in this world. There's a lot of evil people in this world. There's no doubt about that. We have a super chat here from BG. Says, Waltz is a weak and scared man. He will sing under 10 minutes of the start of the debriefing. Guarantee he'll give everyone up. Bondi's courage is the only question. Yeah, I mean, it ultimately goes to Pam Bondi. That's right. It will. I think they'll run with it. I think they will. The degree to which Pam Bondi's DOJ has run down Don Lemon and his other church group raiders has kind of remoralized me. I'm feeling remoralized a little bit here. Maybe they do have what it takes to chase some of these people down. Megalia says, I should not be censored with what I want to say. I'm sorry, that's YouTube. It's 2026. We all know how YouTube is. Rumble, however, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yep. That's how YouTube is. We have a super chat here from John Doe who says any creator can censor anyone they want on their stream. Why is it even up for debate? And why would you pay to highlight your complaining? Hold up, is somebody here complaining about me? Somebody's complaining about little old me? I didn't do nothing. Somebody has a complaint with me? I've never. I didn't see it. I don't know. I didn't see it. Hey, thank you very much. Me? Hey, thank you very much. I didn't see it. I think Megalia was complaining about YouTube. And we know how YouTube can be sometimes. Thank you. We have a super chat here from Slow Brew Lo-Fi. Says, if the protests got you riled up, I share smooth chill vibes on YouTube and Slow Brew Wi-Fi. There you go. Slow Brew Lo-Fi. I mean, we have a super chat from Peepus. He says, can't say Somalia or alien heads anymore. It's YouTube. Listen, I'm just gonna say this. If you guys are pissed off about YouTube censoring your comment, go to Rumble. We're live on Rumble. Rumble is not censoring anything. Rather than complaining about YouTube, we all know YouTube's been doing this forever. We all know how YouTube is. Go to Rumble. Go to Rumble. Just go to Rumble right now. You go to Rumble. In fact, like I said, I've got a little special surprise for you guys today, but here, 1 minute here. We have some more super chats. Tara says, A.G. Ellison was recorded. We do have allegedly recordings of Attorney General Keith Ellison involved in this stuff. It seems like we've got him nailed down. Seems like it. Thank you. Oh, I see another super chat from Tara. Thank you. The 2-time Tara. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that support. We have a Rumble rant. Let me see here. From Mighty Megatron. He says, well, okay, that's a Rumble rant I probably shouldn't read. I'll read it, but I'm not going to say it. Hey, not funny. I'm wagging my finger at you. Hey, you can't make jokes like that. That's super rude. Hey, don't make jokes like that. That's not funny, Mighty Megatron. Thank you. We have another Rumble rant. Okay, there's another one. Thank you. And a gifted Rumble premium from Warehouse Jimmy on Rumble. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today, like I said, we're going to do something a little bit crazy here. It's a special Saturday. We were just talking about Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite YouTubers, he goes by the name of Tyler Oliveira. I think some of you know him. Tyler Oliveira. He's on the ground doing crazy independent journalism on the ground. He's uploaded a video about Indians invading Canada and taking over Canada. The Indians allegedly are taking over Canada. And so it's a 25 minute long video. We are going to watch this video together on Rumble. So we're going to wrap up the YouTube segment and we're going to transition over to Rumble and we're going to watch this Indian-Canadian takeover on Rumble exclusively. So folks, we're going to wrap up on YouTube. If you're dipping out on YouTube, thank you everyone for tuning in. However, we're going to continue the show for maybe another hour on Rumble and we're going to talk about the Indian takeover of Canada. It's happening, allegedly. So everybody, hop on over to Rumble. My name is Matt Morris TV on Rumble. Matt Morris TV on Rumble. Rumble, Matt Morris TV. We're going to start watching that here in about 5 minutes. Hop on over, folks. I'll see you over there. And if you're not hopping over, then I'll see you later this evening for the second live show this evening. So thank you, everybody. I'm wrapping up on YouTube now. We're going over to Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Rumblers.